listening to the Woken Up Woke Podcast. Woke up.
All right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Shit Show. Say hello to your friends. I'm Joe D. I'm here with the crew, Ep5, Ro Carter, and this is Woken Up Wokome. Sorry.
Oh,
Hey, get us pumped. A budget. We got a budget now, guys.
Nice.
I made 3 cents on Anchor so far.
Nice. Keep going.
So what's up, fellas?
Good
What's
to
going
see
on?
everybody.
Happy Halloween or belated?
It's good to see Ro normal.
Yeah, cheers.
Fucking
Cheers.
curse it
It's
out.
my turn this week. Where's my bike?
Ready?
Where's my bike?
Ready? Yeah, Joe's.
I'm gonna start doing jumping
Joe's-
jacks.
Again, I didn't plug the show because it was awful. I heard my voice on
I
there.
know you
and I was
fucking
like,
ruined
wow.
it. You ruined it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fucking ruined it.
That's why it was-
Nobody's
There was some
coming
good-
back.
Yeah.
It was
There was some
great.
good
Some great
conversations,
topic
too.
there. Yeah.
Yep. I
You weren't
ruined it.
part of it.
And that's why it was published full on, no editing. We're gonna let you see what you did and think about
Yeah,
what
I
you
was
did.
like, anybody's watching or listening, the audio only podcast is actually cleaned up a little. So, but yeah, check it out. It's a shit show.
Yeah,
That's what we do.
that's what we do. That's what we're here
That's
for.
what we do.
So I'm sober today. I'm
Nice.
sober. 100% sober.
Even after that Jets debacle today, you were sober. After that,
I
that
didn't
ass
watch
whooping at the Chiefs.
I knew it was gonna be an accident, but I was.
It was like
They said 50 originally.
Mahomes was like a man playing in a park with a bunch of kids. Where
Yeah.
he's like the official quarterback. Remember when he used to do that? Like,
The
I'll be-
play for both
They used to
teams.
call it artificial quarterback. I'll be artificial quarterback, yo. And they
Yeah.
play for both teams, and it's just one guy chucking bombs to
It,
kick whoever can catch.
yeah, it was that one 18-year-old playing with all the junior high school kids.
Yeah. It was embarrassing, and he still has a job, and I just don't understand at this point. So, you know,
Wait, who's got a job? I got lost.
Adam Gase
Gase.
is still coaching.
Case.
Sorry. Yeah. Well,
Supposed to be the quarterback.
We're
whisperer.
0-7. We're 0-7. Fire him.
are you the only winless team?
Yep.
Giants
won
won
this team.
2 weeks ago. Giants won 2 weeks ago. So yeah,
Oh yeah. Well, you're in
the
good
Bengals
company.
have more wins than us. The Bengals.
Jesus.
They
Yeah.
even have a tie on their record too. At least they got a win and a tie.
We ain't got none of that.
So you got a long way to go.
I'm sorry. Watch
Yeah,
what the
they-
Giants.
They talking about this guy in college, Trevor Lawrence, skipping the
He
draft.
might stay
and-
another year.
Yeah, he might stay. He's like, oh no, the Jets. Oh no,
Would he?
I'll stay in school. How bad is
Right,
it
Fuck
gonna
that.
the
be?
last time someone said that, I'll stay in school.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
just
pass
stay
up
in
on a
school.
couple million, and I'm gonna
I'll
stay in school.
study. I'll keep
I'm good.
studying. The Jets, yeah, I'd rather take tests all semester. But hey, that's what it is.
I'm gonna take
Yeah,
chemistry.
yeah.
Hey, listen, Giants aren't much better.
You know what sucks about football when the football season starts, because you're getting excited, right? Especially during COVID, you're like, oh man, I can't wait. Just something to get me out of this kind of funk I'm in. I'm like, oh, season starts. All right, this gonna be our year.
This
baby.
is our
gonna
year.
be our year.
Yep.
And literally, the first game.
Yep.
Your whole season is literally.
Now
Exactly.
let me ask you something, right? Because I get this a lot when I know right off the bat the first 10 minutes how the rest of the season is gonna be. Like you could say I'm jumping the gun, but I can see if what they're doing right now is not fixable before the end of the season. Like you could tell when there's potential, and there's no potential. It is.
Yeah, there's got to be something that gives you hope. And when you see that there's no hope, when you see everybody and there's like for us with the Giants, once Saquon's gone, that's it. We're like, there's no hope. There's no
Yeah.
why watch. Like, he was the bright spot. Maybe him with Daniel Jones and
He was the
just some
workhorse.
talent on the receivers. You're like, okay, nah,
You
he's
guys
gone.
still believe in Daniel Jones?
I do. I don't believe in our O line.
All right. I mean, same thing with Eli. I mean, had no line. I mean, what are you going?
Yeah, I mean, I always believed in Eli, and I mean, I feel like this kid is very similar, but it doesn't matter who you have as quarterback if
He
you don't
can
have a
run though.
fucking O
I
line.
would set plays up where he can get out of the pocket, and hopefully
Same
you'll see
way
that tomorrow night.
right.
Yeah,
Same way with Buffalo. What they do with Josh Allen.
Yeah, 100%.
He's similar
That's what they
type
should do.
player. Design plays where he can run 10, 12 yards.
Yeah.
Hey, so
Big
wait,
huge difference.
what's the deal with the ownership of the Giants? I heard something about they're gonna get new owners. Is that true?
I have not heard
Mets.
anything about that.
The
Yeah.
Mets? The
No,
Mets are
Giants.
getting
The
a
Giants.
new owner.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what they were telling me. But someone
Yeah,
mentioned
what's they've invested in the
Because
Mets?
you're a Mets fan, so Steve Cohen
Let's not bring
bought
that
the
up.
Mets.
Also, what's his name? Who has a show on Friday nights? On HBO. What's his name?
Gumble?
No, white dude on HBO. Fuck. I can't think of his name right now.
I don't
Anyway, it'll come back to me. Bill Maher.
Don't know.
know. Oh, okay.
Bill Maher. He's actually an investor too
In what? I don't know.
with the
I
Mets.
haven't heard that.
Really?
No, that's fake news.
Yeah.
Fake news.
You can
You're
Google
gonna
it.
have to run
You
a
can
disclaimer.
Google
Google
it
it.
right now. Google
Cohen
it. Google
bought it. Cohen
Okay,
bought
I'm
the
telling-
Mets.
he's-
There's no
he's
other.
one of the
There's no Bill Maher.
All right.
Bill Maher don't got money like that.
All right.
There was a group before them competing with Steve Cohen.
Oh no, it's
A-Rod.
it's just rumors that yeah, no.
New York's Mets prove Bill
It's
Maher
not
and
gonna
Steve
happen.
Cohen are better. Modern investor Steve Cohen is looking smart as the Mets have become, and Bill Maher is smarter investors than David. Oh, what is that? Oh,
Yeah, read it. Keep reading it. What Bill Maher's invested in what you call it? What's this guy? A hedge fund. So he's invested in Steve Cohen's hedge fund. So
Nice. I don't know what any of that means.
he's got a foot in there. All right.
Oh, that's
Let's
what she
just
said.
erase this
nothing.
whole for a part of the show.
he's got nothing. He don't even have season tickets.
He's got a title here. There's a headline.
Oh man. So
Anyways.
what was your question, Ro, that you were
Yeah.
posing
let's get
before
in-
we
get
started?
into
It was so the other day. In one of my group chats, with other friends I have besides you guys, they posted
What?
that now nurses are doing, because there's always teachers, but now nurses are doing fans only pages.
OnlyFans.
Only fans. Sorry, I'll get it. I'm sorry.
So-
See,
so
what?
I've
I don't
heard.
have that.
So
Yeah, you
that's
got
what they tell me.
So I've heard.
Uh-huh.
I like to
So,
read.
so anyway, on Instagram, if you're, I guess you can be a lady of any size. Doesn't matter. You can start your.
You could be a guy.
OnlyFans
You could
page.
be anything.
Yeah, be anything.
You
Be
can-
anything.
You can do.
And-
You can jack it off by yourself, solo, and people will pay
Why do
for
you
that.
know all this?
I mean, so I've heard.
Yeah.
What?
You don't
Alright.
like. I
I
mean, you
heard
don't
that's a
have to
thing.
jack it off. I mean, you could show like art. You could
Like,
you could play
what they
music.
told me. That's not what they told me.
So my question
Really?
was, because you guys are the only married guys on here, the two married guys on here.
Mhm.
So if you're, I guess,
Yes,
your
I would.
girl
I would
before
jack
you
it off
married
for
her,
money. Oh,
No,
No.
sorry.
sorry. Sorry, I jumped.
Would
the
you
gun.
marry? Would you marry someone who had a OnlyFans page?
Did I know
Now again,
before
OnlyFans,
or after?
OnlyFans, you can, just so we clarify, OnlyFans is
Right.
there's no actual, like, there's no one touching you. There's no one doing
Yeah.
anything else. You were just getting paid to like do whatever you want to do.
Show what
Sometimes
you
you're
got.
not even doing
could
really.
be.
You're just showing what you got.
It could
But
be.
sometimes you can go next level and kind
Right.
of do stuff. But just only doing videos and fans can watch and kind of do that stuff. Are you on board?
Is she currently doing, or is this like maybe something in the past? Hey, babe, a few years ago during the pandemic, I had an OnlyFans page to make ends meet. Is it that kind of situation, or
No, it
Or
was
is it
something she
like-
did on the side. Well, she
right?
did the money. Neither
but
money.
she
Let's say
didn't, or is
pandemic
she
money, but she
still
did it.
doing it?
Yeah, that to me is
That's
the
what I
key.
mean.
Like
Well,
if I'm,
now
Is
let's
she
just
still
say,
doing it?
let's say, all right, hypothetically speaking, I meet my wife when we first met,
Uh,
and she's like, "Hey, I got an OnlyFans page." Um, I
You
guess it
meet
would
her on
it
OnlyFans.
would
Sorry.
probably depend on how far she's gone on the page, because
really?
there's some tame ones out there. It's like, I mean, girls can make money showing their ankles, right? So you can,
The
you
feet.
know.
The people love the feet. I don't
You know what I
understand
mean?
that.
So if it was something like that, I probably wouldn't care. But I mean, if she's full blown showing all she got and toys and all that stuff, yeah, probably not. She's for the streets. I
But
mean,
what?
Really? Really?
he said married. I mean, that's
Again, she
you
has
know your
not done
friends.
anything
Do you really want to
against
risk like, hey, bro, look at look at my wife.
me.
Oh, hey, yeah, I follow her too.
I'm just saying. I mean, she's not doing anything, not messing
Hmm.
up relationship,
Right,
and
right,
now
right.
you guys are getting to the point where it's getting really serious. She's like, hey, by the way, but this is my hustle. This is my money.
Yeah.
So this is my money.
Yeah.
I'm still we're together, whatever it is. But this
Hmm.
is my side money. This is for us
Yeah,
to
yeah,
build a family, buy a house, do whatever we got to do.
yeah. Nah, get a
She's
job.
So
even
yeah,
she
so
even said,
that's
I'll invite you in that.
that's my thing. Now, how much money is she making off of it? Like,
Yeah.
if she did it and she's successful, like, yeah. But if she's like, making $15 a week, and she's not really good at it, then I'm
No.
really,
If I'm her only subscriber,
exactly. If I met
All
her
your
on
all your boys,
OnlyFans-
all your boys are the only people that are subscribing. Why is Tony still in
hey,
this thing every
hey,
day?
bro, why you
Why
ain't
is he
commenting?
still-
She just posted something, bro. Y'all fucked up. It's my wife.
Pay your money, bro. Stop paying. You had that dinner the other night. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it would really depend, because I mean, I don't know. You know what I think? All right, I think that lets you know what you're in for, though. I mean, as far as the future. So
Yeah,
anything that comes back to you, I mean, that's your bad. Like, bro, she had OnlyFans when you met her. You know what I mean? In my opinion.
Well,
So
look at people that date, strippers and
Mhm.
porn stars.
same.
Like, I see it
that
a
always
lot.
works
Like,
out perfectly.
right, exactly.
Look at Kanye.
But
He
you
got a dope
see-
album out of it. 808 and Heartbreak.
All right. That's true. That's true.
But here's the thing: it's always lingering, and for the girl or for whoever the performer was, that's always gonna come back. You have a fight about who left the milk out, and it's like, you fucking had an OnlyFans. You shoved the fucking pineapple up your ass.
How?
Oh, now you're gonna bring that back up? You gonna bring that back up?
But how, yo?
So that's always gonna be ammunition.
Yeah.
So
I
Always
thi-
gonna be lingering.
yeah. I think
it's
it's.
always gonna be like,
I think it's
so
a,
that
it's a
that
no
would be
go
my
for me.
big problem. Just
I'm petty.
So you know what's crazy? When I worked, I'm not gonna blast any names, but I will
Mhm.
say this: when I worked in the fitness industry in Burbank, there was a trainer who wound up dating a dude. I think they may be married now, but he used to do gay porn.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Yeah, and I was like, but here was his thing. I never,
Yeah.
some of the guys like, yo, you got to see this stuff. So again, he was only giving it, he was never receiving it, and
didn't
was
catch.
he got paid
pitching.
a lot
Yeah.
of money
He was
to
a
do
starter
what he had to
pitcher.
do.
He
Or, like,
wasn't.
go do
You said
some-
he wasn't
no.
giving it. He was just
He did
receiving
not
it.
He
have-
was pitching.
No. He was
No.
he was getting BJs. He was just getting BJs.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
He was
He
getting.
wouldn't put it. He was
wasn't
getting
giving.
Yeah.
BJs. He
Right.
wasn't giving.
By
Wasn't
men.
giving. Big dude, like jacked.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yo,
Were-
we give money."
Were his
every time,
eyes
kinda-
closed or open?
His eye again. I saw it for 2.2 seconds because I didn't.
Were they
believe
laying
it.
down
you
or
did.
standing up?
Again, I didn't.
What were his
watch
hands
long enough.
doing? Are they on
Yeah.
his waist or is he like holding the guy's hand?
Did he
was kinda
bite
like
his
a ring.
lip at
It was
all?
kind of like a ring, and he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Whoa." I was like, "All right."
I mean, I think at
And I
that
couldn't-
point.
I couldn't. Yeah, I was like, "Wait, he used to do?" And not to be a hater, it was like, she was like, "I don't care. He's a nice guy." And I was like, "No, but he used to do." And again, that's kind of what society puts these labels on and stuff like that.
Right.
So I was like, all right, as
Um,
long as you're happy, and you're,
Yeah. I mean, hey,
I
listen.
think,
If,
I think
if
love conquers all. If it's really, if people are honest with themselves and you really both love each other, then I
Mhm.
think none of that matters.
Right.
I think the problem is when people lie to themselves.
Yeah.
You know, some people
Yeah,
are like,
you're not.
you know,
I'm like, play.
Yeah.
All right, play.
yeah.
Remember, what
They-
was that DJ from Hot 97, Mr. C? Kept getting
the
caught with
finisher.
When they caught him,
the
when they
finisher.
caught
That's
Mr.
hilarious.
C,
The finisher.
the
He was
saddest-
finishing them.
Like you know what I
and
mean?
nothing against Mrs. But that was like one of the
No.
saddest like
It,
calls. He called in and talked about. I was like, bro.
yeah, and all he had to do was be like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm into transsexuals. That would have been the end of it. But he
Right.
kept trying
That's
to.
the
That's
problem.
hip-hop
And I
era,
think,
though. I mean,
yeah, but I think I heard that on a podcast this weekend. I think it was Andrew Schultz, and he was talking. He said a lot of when like celebrities come out and they come out as gay and people. I mean, granted, there are people that are homophobes and all that, but the bigger thing is that people feel lied or betrayed to, like, because they think they know you as a celebrity, or they think they may know someone, and they get comfortable like that. And then when you're someone that you're not, surprise, surprise, people feel betrayed, and that kind of does it.
But I mean, at that point though, it was like his third time being
Well,
caught. It was
at
like
Eddie Murphy too.
yeah.
we forget. Don't forget about Eddie back in the day.
Oh,
Don't forget Eddie.
And
and people still love Eddie, but
that was great. He was like, well, I was just giving her a ride home, man. That's all.
we cool. I know her from the block.
What
was that other actor, Hugh Grant, right? Didn't he get caught?
I think that was with a girl.
Oh, okay, so that's okay.
We don't discriminate here in the pod, obviously.
No discrimination.
But honestly, that sentiment was more accepted for him to be caught with a female hooker or whatever it was than Eddie Murphy or anybody else.
Society looks at it like, oh yeah, good for him, manly man.
Same act, both doing the same exact things, just a different gender they were doing it with, and people look at it all crazy.
Did I ever tell you what my cousins did to Jack and all of them are down in I don't know if I should say names, but anyway.
But they were down.
My cousin, no.
My cousin Zach.
Zachariah.
And his brother Bobby.
They're in Thailand with J-Ho and like some other, and so whoever got really drunk that night, they would pay a girl. So they call the transsexuals down there girly men
or lady boys.
And so they would pay lady boy. Well, girly men, lady boys. And so if they were more manly, they would call them girly men. Yeah, thank you, lady boys. All right, Joe, you know a lot about some stuff. I didn't know you did.
I read a lot. I read a lot.
Lady boys.
So anyway, the lady boys, you would pay them, and to wake up next to whoever passed out the night before. So the first night it's hysterical. So I think J-Ho got it the worst. So he woke up, right, and he's just like a fucking hot mess. And then like what is it called again? What are they called again?
The gentleman girl. I don't know. Lady boys.
The lady boys.
Come on, you know it.
The female. It was a female.
What do they speak in Thailand?
It was whatever she said she was. So she said she was a female. She was a female.
Yeah. So the lady boys would have their arm around them in the morning, and they wake up, and they're like, "Yo, come on, man, don't tell me, nah, you messing with me." And like the whole day, like, "Yo, man, we try to tell you, you were all about it."
That's funny.
It was a good time. I ain't been that drunk.
I know.
I don't know. Maybe last week we could pull that off with you.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. We didn't see how you got home, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing how I always get home. I want to thank the Lord because I think I'm going to die on a city bike. That's how I'm going out, on a city bike. I already know.
Man.
That's how I'm going to die.
I had a couple people ask me, like, was he really on a bike? Yeah. He was. He wasn't jogging in place.
It really looked like it was an imaginary bike because you saw nothing but. This is you. So if I was to do this, the whole.
This is what you look like you were doing.
I'm on a bike. You kept that up for the whole show.
For 2.5 hours.
Our longest show to date.
Yeah. Shout out to Eric who actually watched the whole thing. He had to do it in parts, but he watched. He was like, it was a tough watch. He said it was good stuff, with the exception of a lot of a
the
few.
First thing he did, he was like, "Yo, you need a mic ASAP." Hopefully it
listened
sound a
to
lot
it.
better.
Not only did I have to edit it, but I also then I listened to it. I like to listen to it in the car on the drive, and I listen. Some good content there, especially at the end when we muted his mic. When we muted Ro completely, it was great.
And FYI, I only muted you because of the background noise. It wasn't really because of you.
No,
that was the hardest part.
Again, you have every right. I'm going to say it right now. You have every right. If I'm that obnoxious, you can just mute me. Matter of fact, if you can kick me off, that's what I would do. I would just kick me off.
I was, but we needed comic relief. Me and Ev were too serious. We needed the balance.
That's the worst part about you guys. Like, so what are you doing? What do you think about the world?
No, we're like newscasters.
All right, guys, loosen up.
Yeah. So have you voted yet, Evan? Is that
Who are you voting for this one?
Tell me, what do you think about the Electoral College?
The Electoral College.
Have you guys seen? You guys seen any of these commercials where they digitally put in the fake mask on these commercials? Raymore and Flanagan has one that I can think of off the top, but it's like one of the older commercials, but they, and it's like a guy talking to a salesperson, but they have like digitally enhanced masks, so they like come off their face. I'm like,
because now everybody has to have. I haven't seen those yet. That's funny.
So I was wondering what you guys thought about that, or is that the new normal, or are they gonna start shooting commercials with masks, or just go back and redo all their old commercials with masks, and then where do they stop? Like TV shows,
I feel bad.
Different Strokes comes on and they put masks on everybody.
It's good.
Mr. Drummond knew, man.
Mr. Drummond
knew back then. He knew.
Yeah, I mean,
then they could sell like advertising space on the digitally enhanced mask. Supreme.
That's true. Supreme. Why hasn't Supreme made a mask? I'm sure they do. I'm sure they have a mask.
I'm sure they did. There's no way.
It's like $500.
It's worth $1,000.
Well, actually, they had masks before the pandemic because there was a lot of. I saw a lot of. Those. No. What do you call those hype beasts on all the sneaker pages I follow? They used to wear them just to wear them because that's a thing, not to show their face. I don't know. I don't get it, but. So Supreme already had masks.
In Japan and Singapore, like masks were a big thing before the pandemic. They were real cautious about like anything when you flew. So.
Yeah, even when SARS hit, our way, you saw a lot of people wearing masks and stuff.
Crazy how we took care of that pretty quick. It's kind of crazy.
What's that?
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah. See how that works. Have you guys voted by any chance? I'm just curious. I don't care who you voted for. I was just wondering.
I have to go out to Staten Island Tuesday morning, so I'll probably catch like a 5:30, 6 o'clock vote. So I'm just like.
Oh, is that where you got to vote? Shaolin.
Yeah, because I didn't want to change to Jersey.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And then I used to go by Tina's old spot, 275 Water Street. I used to. Wow, I just blew that up. You got to delete that.
He gave the address.
Whoa, bleep that. Bleep. So in the Seaport,
I'll just bleep everything out around the address.
Yeah.
Like bloop 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 247 bloop bloop bloop.
So the Seaport area, I used to just do it right there, and it was perfect, right by the Seaport. So I was like, so now I don't have it anymore. So now I got to go all the way back to Staten Island. So that should be fun.
I don't know, man.
I'm a little nervous about the city, though. I'm really they boarded up. They boarded up the Macy's already?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. It's
to prepare.
And I think we kind of talked about this last week too, and the hype. If no one hyped it so much and they sensationalize it, like, oh, be ready, think bad things are coming. Nobody would think it. You know what I mean? I've always been like that. Same thing when they used to have parades and stuff, and they would board up the windows. Like maybe no one was thinking about it until you put it into their brain. Like, hey.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, like we're well, I don't work tonight, but tomorrow night I think we're boarding up the front of the hotel. Just because to be safe, I guess.
Why? And here's my question: why? Because they're not gonna have results Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It's gonna be a drawn out thing.
I mean, I know why
That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
They're sensationalizing.
Yeah.
I think they want something to happen. I don't know who they is, but just I think
Illuminati.
Still doing that conspiracy shit, aren't
Yeah,
you?
it's
You're still doing
Illuminati.
it from
Yeah,
last
yeah.
week.
Yeah, I mean, like last when the incident with George Floyd first happened, and all the riots first were popping up in the cities. Um, we boarded up the hotel, and I mean, I wouldn't. There was looting, but it was literally like a band of 20 people who were making their way up Market Street, going into like Marshalls and CVS, and it was started even smaller than that, and then you just saw these kind of other people join in, but you could tell they had no clue what the fuck was going on. They just saw somebody broke into Marshalls and people running out with clothes, so they went in and grabbed it. And I mean, it was probably cleared up within, I don't know, an hour. Cops had to come back twice and then cleared it up, and that was the end of it. But you read the newspaper and see the news the next day, you made it seem like, they were, there was
same thing
fucking
here in the city,
crowds and yeah.
and it's a good segue because that's what we're gonna kind of talk about. But here in Manhattan, where I work is we have all of Midtown, and we do all the high end stores, Gucci, you name it, Fifth Avenue, Madison Avenue, and there was some looting, but it was organized, and these were professional crews that came in and they hit Soho, they hit stores in Soho, so that was just they saw opportunity and took it, and they got blown way out of proportion because I saw a couple things like on the internet. There was this video and some guys talking about he's driving down Fifth Avenue. He's like a construction worker, or, real heavy New York accent. And he sees like Tiffany's in the Gucci store, and he's like, "Oh, look, they hit this store." Boom! And then he's just driving out, and now all the stores had their windows boarded up because they did the same, for precaution. So they all boarded up their windows. And this guy's driving around going, "Oh, hit! Look, hit! Boom! Oh, they hit this store! Oh, hit!" And he's just driving down, literally pointing it out, and the video went viral. And I saw people reposting it on, on their Facebook and Instagram, like, "Oh my God, this is crazy." And I was literally there the night before because, that's what I do. And I'm just like, yeah, none of that happened. But they see this video, and then next thing you know, it's on the news, and then
And nobody
you
fact
hear
checks
things
anything.
you hear,
But the
New
Louis
York
Vuitton store got hit up. I mean, those stores got hit up.
in Soho, not in Midtown,
Yeah,
not the big flagship
So
stores.
they would just bring, they you ain't hitting no flagship stores up like that. But the Soho, that was crazy. Those videos.
But
dudes
that
like,
was
what size you play? What size?
right, and that was organized. It was an organized crews that came in with cars, and they went.
Yeah,
and, this is what they do, and they saw opportunity, and they shout out to those crews. Who saw opportunity. They saw there was nothing going on. I was like, hey. So they hit that, and then
what's going on here, guys?
That even kind of recovered within like 3 days, because I drove up there one day. They had the Brooklyn Bridge exit closed. I had to actually drive through Manhattan, and it was weird because it was like a ghost town, but it wasn't anything you would have saw on the news, like bands of people roaming around. And so, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, like how New York City, where me and Ro are at, and San Francisco, where Joe's at, both of those cities, those are two of the main cities, also with Portland and Seattle, but they, in the news wise, in the media, they're, depicted as like lawless cities, and there's a lot of things. Like San Francisco, you got the homeless epidemic, and so then is that blown out of proportion. In New York, I think Trump requested New York is one of those lawless cities, so they didn't get funding, something like that. So you see these things on the news, and they're like, "Oh my God, New York City is horrible," and you hear people talk about it, and people leaving and moving and all that. And on the first episode of this podcast, I kind of talk about that I was moving out of New York City, but that was a decision I made before any of this happened. Right. That was just something, I had wanted to do just, for my family and for economic reasons, like, just getting more bang for my buck, which I want to add that because of the pandemic and because of all the media hype and everything that's going on, where I was looking to move, I'm kind of being priced out of that because everyone from Brooklyn and who can afford it in Manhattan went up there and they overpaid for these homes, and the market shot up, and I'm like, dude, I was about to pay, a reasonable price, and you just drove the market value up for no reason because you're used to paying $1 million in Brooklyn, and you just came and took that money and put it. So
now you gotta move
Manhattan's looking good again, player.
I was about to say, just go back to the city.
Exactly.
New Year, player.
Hey, bro, you can speak about that. Like the rental prices have come down. It used to be like the median average was like $5,000. Now it's 2,500 and under is like the median rental price for
God,
price in Manhattan.
Fucking ridiculous though.
I've seen some amazing places online. I'm just like, wow, like $2,000 for like a nice 1-bedroom. I saw one with a backyard in the 90s. I was like, because I'm thinking now, if this hits again, I either need a balcony or I need a backyard. That's the future, so I don't go crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rents are just like, holy
it's
cow!
Affordable to
Yeah. It feels kind of good, like New York,
right? If you're listening and you're not from the New York area, but those prices that Ro talking about, I mean that's really good for New York City prices. I mean we haven't seen that in a while because we're talking even a few months
20
ago.
years? 10 years? Decade?
Yeah. It's still sickening though. It's still ridiculous rent. I mean, it's the same. It's the same here. I mean, it hasn't gone down.
Oh yeah,
here.
San Francisco's really bad. You guys are.
Dude, the tech industry screwed it all up. Same thing Ev said. They drove up the prices. They had their companies paying for them to come out here, so they don't care how much rent is. They just need to get their people out here. And that just drove the price up, and everyone started going outside of the city. And then now you see it where before you could go to the East Bay, Oakland or the Peninsula, and you can get a house affordable. Like now everything's like a couple million. You're like, for
no
what?
one's still going to Oakland though. Oakland's awful.
Nah, see, this is like back to what we're talking about as far as what you guys hear and what it is. Oakland has changed. Oakland's like downtown Brooklyn. Yeah, don't go to East Oakland, right? Same way you're not gonna go to East New York, but try to buy a house or rent an apartment in Oakland right now. It's becoming gentrified. It's right now that's the spot to go to because you're close to the city. You have BART and you can get here quick, but it's still somewhat affordable, comparable to $4,000 or $3,000 downtown or something like that.
That's crazy.
Let's talk about San Francisco while we're talking about it. So what we hear out here, and Ro can you can chime in. I don't know what you hear also, but just from reading news, watching, listening to people, San Francisco is unlivable. There's homeless people. I saw a tweet, and it was funny, and it was probably true, where the guys, the tweet was, I've been all over this world. I've been to third world countries and seen everything, but only in San Francisco have I stepped in human shit on the sidewalk.
Yeah, he probably did.
Bro, there's a shit app. There's literally a shit app. Like, I'm not joking when I'm saying this. There is an app for shit. Easy. Like, who has it?
What's it called? What's it called?
It's crazy, and but it shows poop like all over.
So where to watch?
all over San Francisco.
I was like, what is this? It's legit poop app. It's a legit poop app.
People
like
have been taking shits and then taking the shit and then like signing it,
taking selfies with it. Hey, I found it. It's like a Banksy fucking.
That is
it's the new Pokemon app. You gotta
find the poop.
Hey, I found a Crapazord.
Crapazord on Market.
I mean, I don't know. Honestly, at least late.
I mean, so tell us, is it livable out there, or what do you experience?
I mean, I'm still here.
You're still there, so that's what I mean.
I mean, okay, so technically, I moved from San Francisco the beginning of this year, January-ish. I moved to Daly City, but it's the neighboring county, so it would be like Brooklyn to Queens. What's up?
Sorry, can I cut you off for 1 second?
Yeah, yeah.
It's called Snapcrap,
Oh yes.
and that's the name of the app. It's called
Yes.
Snapcrap, and that's for residents of San Francisco to report poop.
Oh my
Hey,
god.
All right,
I'm
continue.
I'm downloading that like as we speak.
Yeah.
So
But that goes back to what we said with the boarding up windows. Now you're encouraging people to take shits on the street.
exactly. It's like wait
Oh,
a
man.
minute.
The people who work for that app are purposely driving around, getting out, shitting in the street,
Shitting,
and saying, "Look,
posting
see,
it.
You need our app. This is why you
Wait,
need
so-
it. There's
so-
shit
so-
everywhere."
This app invites people to take photographs of feces on streets and sidewalks that need cleaning and delivers a report to the city's 311 hotline.
Oh man, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take the most like amazing shots of the shit. Like I'm gonna get like a DSL. I'm with like lighting and everything. There's gonna be the most beautiful pictures
Can
of
you
shit.
put like even emoji, like background, like little smelly emoji on the
I thought you meant like put my fingers like walking by it in the background.
No, you know
Or
what you
that.
do? I'm gonna green screen the pile of shit in Jurassic Park when
Yes,
they show
yes.
and
There
just
you
put
go.
that like in the back of a San Francisco street.
Uh,
Look at this one.
Just take my shades off like Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Shout out Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, shout out Jeff Goldblum. But yeah, I mean, but back to what I was saying. I mean, I live just outside of the city, but I travel to work into San Francisco every night. I work security. I work graveyard, so I get to see all the fun stuff 2, 3 in the morning. And I'll be honest with you, it's probably more relaxed and livable now during the pandemic than it ever was. I don't know where the fuck the homeless people went, but they must have a place to go. You don't. I mean, it's California, right? You're gonna see homeless people no matter what. So let's start with that, right? Before the pandemic, you had homeless people everywhere. That was a pandemic. That is a pandemic. That's just not. No one seems to give a fuck. I guess I don't know. It's not. It's a problem that's ongoing. But since this all started, I see less homeless people on the street. And as far as crime goes, San Francisco itself, not so much. I think it gets a lot of like a bad rap from all the uh, outsider, what do you call it, counties and stuff. And it's kind of the same like New York. You get outsiders that come and do all the fuck shit and cause the crimes and whatever, and then they go back to where they came from, and then they leave the mess here in San Francisco. But I would not be here if it was unlivable. I mean,
What's unlivable though in your mind? Like what's unlivable?
Yeah.
The gunshots every week? Is there just
no,
poop
I mean,
at
because
every square foot? Like what?
I
what's
think I
unlivable?
have more tolerance than the average person just from where I was born and raised and where I've lived throughout my life. So for
What are
me,
you talking about? You live around the corner from me. What are you talking
right.
about?
But okay, all right, first off, I grew up in the projects in the Bronx till I was 10.
All right.
We moved to Staten Island, and I grant you, right? Staten Island, beautiful place, suburbs, but you got projects in between, like, in the mix of all that, right? There's some places that have never seen projects. There's some places that have never seen ghetto. So those people have a way lower tolerance for fuck shit than I do. I hear gunshots going to work. All right, it's gunshots. I'm going the opposite way. I don't give a fuck. Someone else who grew up in some small town and fucking wherever has never heard anything like that. Oh my God, I gotta get the fuck out of here. This place is crazy.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is my tolerance is higher growing up in New York in general. I think you can take a lot more than someone who grew up in middle of nowhere, Utah or something like that. That's what I mean. I didn't grow up, in the Carter with Nino Brown as my neighbor, but
I mean, you're making it sound like
but I've seen some shit, man. You'd be
like
surprised.
Cousin Pookie
I
came
mean,
out.
I've seen people shot. I've seen
suck
people
your dick,
killed. I mean, that doesn't mean that I was involved in any of it, but I've seen it. You know,
All right.
you have too. I mean, shit, you live on Brewster Street.
I
Shout out Brewster Street.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
of
We
course.
stay out of it because of how we were raised, and that's a whole different story. But we still witnessed, certain things.
crazy stuff.
We saw things that went the other way.
That's a good point when you say you said some places, they don't see that. Let's be clear. Most places, when you take all of America versus the major cities, and most places and most people don't see things aren't accustomed to anything like that. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I
So,
mean, trailer parks are a whole different. I mean,
Yeah.
they're kind of
Right.
similar, right? In
Yeah.
terms of like,
Right.
now you're in a trailer versus you're on a project, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right,
True.
but with most of America, it's still not like that. You have trailer parks,
Yeah.
you have all these things, but most of America is middle class to upper middle class, and then so on and so forth. So,
Y'all won't see a dead body?
but in New York, it's kind of it's the same thing. I think you're hearing a lot now, like, oh, this is like '80s New York, and then, no, it's not. Like,
Yeah.
I remember '80s New York. I remember, I grew up in that. I remember '90s and the crack epidemics and all that. We are not there. We are nowhere close to that. But I did bring it up in the first show about why people are talking about it is because the city did get better, and it was so much improvement from the 80s and the 90s. So to go back any little bit, it's gonna seem like a shock, like, oh my god. And the influx of people that come to the city, like we said, from places that have never seen that, from Iowa and all these transplants that come to New York City to do whatever it is that live their dreams, whatever it is, and then they came here after. They came to the the new New York, and then when they see anything or hear anything closely, that was like the past, yeah, it's a shock to them.
Yeah.
I was dating a girl like 2 years ago. She lived, was it 2 years ago? Before Maya, I was dating, but there was another girl I was dating. She was from Seattle, and we would go to her place in Brooklyn. It was like just when I got a relationship with Tina, and so I was dating this girl, and I remember we took the train to her house, and then I remember I was on the train. I was like, I didn't see a black person for like 6-7 stops.
Where was
going
this?
into Brooklyn.
Wow.
And going into Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And I was like, she looked at me and was like, what's wrong? I was like, where are the black people? She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, this is fucking Brooklyn. I was like, where are the black people? She's like, wait, are you serious? I was like, I'm dead fucking serious right now.
Yeah, that's
and
funny.
Then all of a sudden, after that, I was like, boom, boom, boom. I was like, what the fuck?
I a few months ago, or even like, no, I'm tripping. Like a year ago, I followed Noriega from Capone Noriega on Instagram, and he lives in Miami now, but he's from New York, and he was out here for whatever reason, and he was driving through Brooklyn, and apparently hadn't been to Brooklyn in years, and was having the same reaction as you. He had his phone. He was in the back of a car, and he was like, "There's like no black. Like, where are all the black?" There was one obvious African couple you could tell because of how they were dressed, and he's like, "Well, that they don't count."
Yeah.
Like, but he was tripping off of it because it really did. It looked like the Village or something, like, or Soho. Like, I was like, I was even surprised. I'm like, damn, I haven't been to New York. I know I wouldn't recognize it when I go back.
You would be like, what the? I was like, what the hell? And it's nice because some areas are clean and they're cleaner than they were, but at the same time, it's just like, what if you did this for the people that actually live there?
Right.
We don't care about that. We just want that money.
Let me ask you something. Do you guys think, because I've had this conversation a couple times with people at work, do you think big cities, like the big cities, LA, New York, Chicago, Seattle, San Francisco, whatever, do you think they're starting to lose their identity or what made them unique? Because like now I feel like you go to all these big cities and everything looks the same. You have all the same trendy food. You have ramen places everywhere. You have the same. It's like, I don't know. I feel like
I hear what you're saying, but I think it's the only thing COVID I will say on this. COVID has taken the oomph out of New York City.
Okay, what do you mean?
Because the amazing like the scenery. When you go in these amazing restaurants and these not even the energy, just the decor. It was just like, wow, breathtaking. You don't have that now. You're sitting outside.
Yeah.
with
whatever
the
they kind of
garbage.
makeshift. Yeah, makeshift garbage right next to you.
Yeah.
I went to dinner with my friends a couple of times around my birthday. We're going to these crazy dinners, and I'm literally by the garbage. The garbage and putting stuff out. It's like, the ambiance is gone. So like
Yeah.
that's what's really sucks about New York right now.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I think with New York being New York and having the amazing restaurants and clubs and places to go, like
Mhm.
even hotel bars, I think that's the nostalgia of New York City.
Right.
You
But
know,
Right.
but
and
to Joe's was so what Joe's putting out there, I think is more like more pre-COVID. So let's say COVID
Right.
didn't exist. I think to some degree, yeah, a lot of the city, like the actual city part. So wherever there's more people of these
I
big
think
cities, they are the same. There's almost a formula.
Mhm.
You get coffee shops, and then you get different trendy shops, like you said, a ramen spot, and all these. Like
Mhm.
they follow. I think a lot of it comes from New York, though. I think a lot of
yeah,
people move out of New York and they want what they had in New York. So then, and you
bro,
see
we
that
can get
in
stuff
a lot of major
24
cities,
hours here.
right?
Only
Yeah.
the only
Yeah.
reason why we still have it is even all the crap's going on is that you can get anything in New York at any time.
Right.
And so you can't go to San Francisco and get that. You can't go to
No.
Boston and get that. You
Not at
can't go
all.
to Chicago and get that.
Right.
Vegas is the only other place.
Right.
That's a
Right.
whole other
Yeah.
conversation.
That's that's another world. No.
Yeah,
And you
I
only have to go to CVS to
Yeah,
get
no,
that.
yeah,
I agree. I just because my thing is like before again pre-COVID, me and Michelle we used to like traveling, like going different places. We have family and friends all over the country, like same as but like I talk to people and they're like, oh man, you guys really gotta go to Austin, Texas. Like it's great. It's like it's just like San Francisco, the art scene and all the tech people moving there.
Yeah.
Same as Houston. I'm like, well, I'm in San Francisco. Why the fuck do I want to go there? What does
Mhm.
Austin have that no other place has? That's what I mean. It's like everyone just seems to kind of be gearing towards the same stuff, and slowly I feel like it's getting watered
You
down.
know what? And here's the problem with that. And Austin, I hear it a lot. Uh, so you get people who leave the big cities, people that leave LA, people that leave New York City, especially
Mhm.
with COVID on it. So
Yeah.
a lot of people, the people who can afford it, they're fleeing and they're going
Yeah.
to smaller cities, but they're still big cities. Like
Right.
Austin is
Mhm.
one of them. Florida, they did it, a couple of years back. Same thing. They would go
Yeah.
down, and then they missed the like we were talking about the nostalgia of the big city. Oh, well, I
Mhm.
need this, I need it. And when you have money, you just say, okay, well,
Yeah.
open this up. Oh, I'll start this. So you start to see these shops that you had in New York City
Mhm.
open up. But then here's the other thing. The reason, so then they get down there and then they start wanting the laws and everything, the rules to change to be like the city that they
Where they
came
came
from.
from, yeah.
And then what happens is, well, why did you leave New York City? Oh, because of this or this. Then you come to Austin and now you want to do the same thing you did in New York City or LA. And then what's going to happen? You're going to leave Austin because everybody's going to come there and do the same thing. You're going to have
Yep.
the same shops and the same stores and the same rules.
Hmm.
And
It's
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 like
funny you say.
traveling nomads colonizing
Yeah.
all over the
Mhm.
United
but you
States.
can't recreate the energy that New York brings, right? And so again,
No.
you can make all the stuff. You can try to
Right.
make it,
Yeah.
But they try
copy
to
it,
do
but
it.
it's still you can't get that energy.
Yeah.
Right.
That is here.
Yeah.
Like we talked about last week, the bridge and tunnel traffic
Mhm.
versus just the the locals that live here. It's it's
Yeah.
a totally different energy. Even you can't bottle a Jersey Shore kid or a Brooklyn kid or Long
No.
Island kid.
No, you can't.
put that in the
You can't.
They're-
Yeah, these are.
they're a
But
special
that's
creature,
the point. I mean, these are things
Upper East Side,
you
Upper East
have to
Side, 'cause we can't.
experience though. Like you know what I mean.
Yeah, you can't bottle
You
it.
can't tell people about the energy in New York in the summer downtown at night where the
Yeah,
city feels like it's literally breathing. You can't explain that. You have to experience that. You know what I mean?
The hot train, and you just trying to like make it to the party. You're
Right.
sweating your balls.
Right. Looking good went out the window
Yeah,
fucking 20 minutes out of the shower when you're just sweating. You're sweating in the shower. Like people don't, you can't, you have to experience that. And then that's what I'm saying is like I feel those things you're starting to lose. Not necessarily New York, but
But you hear that everywhere, and
Right.
you hit it right on the head where people say, "Oh, come to here," like it's down in Florida and like West Palm and Naples. They're like, "Come to Naples. It's got an art scene and it's just like New York." I'm
it's
like,
just like Soho.
from
Like,
New
So
York.
let's ask the question then.
Mhm.
If you could live, if money wasn't an issue, where would you live? Would you still live where you are now?
See, if money wasn't an
If
issue for
yeah, that's a
me,
toughie because
it's
I would have
I
multiple
would be
places.
bi-coastal
Yeah.
or
Um,
I would live in several
but for
places.
argument's sake, if I only had one
You gotta go.
place, if I only had one,
You guys gotta take the question
yeah,
somewhere else.
no, no.
Ain't no fucking
If
question.
money wasn't the issue and I can only live in one place,
One place. We're gonna
um,
someone's gonna give you a grant for money to
yeah,
pay
yeah,
for wherever you want to live. That one place, whatever it
yeah.
costs, just that
One
one
Um,
place. Is
place.
that better?
fuck.
One
One
place.
place.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one because me,
Stupid one place.
I'm thinking weather, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
Hawaii. I'm already gone. There.
Hawaii.
I got it.
That's no. That's I would
There you
say
go.
San
I'm not even
Diego.
gonna argue
San
with you.
Diego's probably where I
San
would go.
Diego's nice. Second.
Yeah,
San
That's
Diego.
good.
yeah. That's
San
probably where
Diego's
I
San
would
nice.
go.
Diego.
I like the vibe. The weather's perfect. It's yeah. That's probably where I would go.
Hawaii.
You guys
Rainbow
are,
every day. Every
you
day.
guys are a
Rainbow.
bunch of bitches. I'm
Stay in
staying
New York.
in New York.
Buffalo, New
I'm
York.
staying in New York. I'm
We're in New York. Now you gotta pick your
Westchester.
place.
I'm going to
I'm in
Westchester.
New York. Yeah, I'm going to a
Brooklyn,
suburb.
where you going?
Nah, I'm going outside of
Long
the city,
Island?
so I can
Yonkers.
still go into the city.
Yeah. I don't know nobody in Yonkers. I ain't met nobody in Yonkers.
Let's go to a suburb in Yonkers.
Going to a suburb.
Oh,
Queens.
sorry. You said something earlier. I wanted to hit on, but I wanted to finish Evan talking. There's two scenes, right? One's a white film, one's a black film, where both young kids see a dead body. Which one was more freakish for you? Boys in the Hood or Stand By Me?
Stand by me.
Ooh, how about you, Evan?
Joe's racist because
I,
seeing a dead black man was obviously not a problem, but a dead white
Because
guy, holy
he answered that
what
shit
the
way
fuck
too
happened?
fast.
God forbid.
He
Who
didn't
killed
even
this
fucking
white man?
hesitate. He didn't even think. He was saying it before you finished your sentence. No, I'll tell you why. Well, I mean, I'll let Evan answer, but then I'll give my explanation.
Well, because you're asking us, and we all grew up in the same kind of place, and like Joe, I've seen somebody killed, and I've seen dead body before,
Mm-hmm.
and so Boys in the Hood is closer to reality.
Yeah.
As far as it wasn't Boys in the Hood, trust me, we weren't getting
Mm-hmm.
shot while we're drinking milk down
Yeah.
alleyways and everything. But closer to
Ricky.
right.
Sorry.
So I don't know. So Stand By Me was I don't know.
The only reason is for me, Stand By Me visually just looked creepier when they showed the body.
Yeah, yeah. So I agree with you, Joe.
It looked
Stand By
real.
Me is
It
the
looked
one that
realer
really
to me.
messed
It,
me
it
up.
had nothing really to
Yeah,
do
it's
with
like,
the scene itself or like
But-
anything like that. Just the way he looked and the dead, like the face, the makeup was
yeah.
just like
Yeah.
fuck. That shit creeped me out.
But the Boys in the Hood was the same thing, and the thing. So I'm gonna say Boys in the Hood just because of the way the nonchalantness about the dead body. He was strewn in trash, like in a pile of trash bags.
I mean, that
and
was
all
a bigger message than the other.
Right.
Right.
So
Oh, definitely.
That
Definitely.
whole thing,
Yeah.
just like that, and that was, was more real because that would be some shit like that. Like,
Yeah.
all right, somebody, there's a dead guy laying in the trash, and it would, how long he would be there? He would probably be there until
And I think
he
what's to that point, what's scarier is the kid's reaction. Is that they were just like, wow, that's
not
crazy.
such
You
a
know what I
big
mean?
deal. Yeah,
And these are
that's-
little kids seeing a dead body.
Yeah.
You would think they'd freak out, but they were, oh yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, I mean that's a good point. But if we're just going visually, that to Stand By Me just creeped me out. The way he looked.
Also, Stand By Me was first. So in that regard, meaning that I saw Stand By Me before I
Yeah.
saw Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
So probably when I saw Stand By Me, it was still more fantastical.
That was your
fantasy,
first.
like
Yeah.
just seeing like, oh, that couldn't happen. And then by the time you see Boys in the Hood, like, nah, that shit really happened. Like, that's happened.
Yeah.
There was a
Yeah.
guy around the corner from me who blew his brains out, and he was literally in there for weeks until we saw the flies and the smell reached 2 blocks away.
Oof, you'll never forget that smell. That's
Which I got a funny story with that. So my brother, So
All
they
right.
finally come. They finally come to
So my brother
the
kills
guy.
this dude, right?
So the poor guy shot himself with a shotgun, blew his head.
Oh,
So
Jeez.
and in the summer, it was like in August.
Mm.
So after a
Mm.
couple of weeks, it was hot, and yeah, so the smell got so bad. Finally, somebody called and they broke in, and it was. I mean, this got like flies. But so then like a week later, finally they get like the medical examiner, and they come and then they clean out the apartment, and it was like city workers. My brother's on his way to work, and they're putting like the guy's possessions like out, and my brother's
No.
like, so they put out like a bike and a box of tools, and my brother's like, what are you gonna do with that? And they were like, I don't give a fuck. They were like, the guy's dead. We're just putting it out. And he's like, so I can take it? And they were like, like, eat your heart out. Go ahead. So he took the bike and he took the tools. It was a nice little toolbox and all that. Brings it home, and then this is my older brother. So he was like living either in the basement or the shed in the back. And so whatever, like, where his bed was, like he had the bike parked right there. And like that first night, he's trying to sleep, and he was just like, "Fuck is that smell?" And he was like, "Oh God, the fucking bike still had that smell." So then, like, he puts it outside, and then he can't get rid of the fucking smell. He's like, "Oh my God!" Like, it's keeping him up at night. Like, he's fucking having nightmares, and fucking the smell is just. So what is he? He fucking sells the bike to somebody at his job for like $10.
Oh, that's
And the poor guy's like, "Huh, the best deal I ever made." Like, he rode the bike to work every day.
Whew. City's
And he
right
asked
today.
him too. He was like, he's like, "So the bike's good?" And I was like, "Yeah, best deal I ever made." But so yeah, so then my brother gets rid of the bike, and he's like, finally I can sleep. That smell was just killing me. Then the fuck, I still smell it. He thought it was in his head, and I'm like, the toolbox is still there. So then he fucking took the toolbox and washed it in gasoline and did all this, and it never got rid of the smell. We still have the toolbox somewhere, but yeah, so. But yeah, that's the smell of death. They say the sweet smell of death is.
It is. It is a sweet stink. I can't. It's like the weirdest fucking. Blah.
the best scene in Bad Boys. Dead guy.
Oh yeah. Oh, I want to go back to some when you were saying earlier about like people move from cities to places and they want to recreate, the life of home and all that. That was definitely me when I came out here. I probably wouldn't have stayed as in till now if I didn't change my way of thinking at some point. And I caught myself because when I first moved out here, I would compare everything to New York. It'd be like, oh man, back home we do this differently, or we don't do this. Oh, in New York we do. And then one day I heard myself. I was just in the car and I just heard myself, and I thought to myself, well, why don't you fucking go back to New York? You know what I mean? Like in my head, like I was someone else. You know what I mean? Like why are you here? And then that's when I don't know, something just kind of clicked, and I was like, you know what? Let me give this city a chance. Let me see what San Francisco's about. Stop comparing it to New York, because obviously nothing's gonna be like New York. You know what I mean? So it's not a fair comparison to do that with any place. But at the same time, every place is individual. So I'm sure there's stuff here that I can't get at New York, or that I can't get anywhere else.
If you had money, imagine if you had moved out to San Francisco and you had money. You were good. Let's say you had a tech startup and you get paid ridiculous amount of money, and you're out there. Then what happens is you start buying things or making it like home.
Right.
So you're gonna start investing in things. Well, I miss this, and so let me get this over here. And then
I don't need to give it a chance. I just
so
make
now
everything
imagine
fit
there's
me.
a whole bunch of Joes with money coming out here, and they all start doing that. Well, I need this. Let me buy that. And that's what happened. So the moral of the story is money sucks.
Yeah, it does. Money fucks everything up. Think about it. Think of like rap music, punk music, rock, like all these genres when they were first coming out, nobody gave a fuck about it. Just a small group of people who liked it and made it what it was. and then it finally starts like building up and getting the buzz, and then it's like now the record labels or whoever are like, oh, okay, this is a money maker, and now they just start throwing money at it and getting artists. All right, we need you to sound like this. We need more people to sound like this, and then it becomes watered down. Like I don't know how many episodes ago when we had Sean on here and everybody, and Sean was like, hey, give me, I want to beat like such and such or whoever, and you were like, that's the biggest mistake you can ask someone who makes beats or produces is to give me something that sounds like someone else, because it's like I don't do that. I do me. You're gonna get what I do, and we'll make something original. You know what I mean? Like,
Remember, it's funny. We did a song. It was like a mock rock song. I was just listening to it the other day, but we were talking about that. Like we were, the song was like raging against capitalism and like, oh, it's horrible. And then in the chorus, we were like, won't you please buy our record? Won't you buy our record, please?
yeah,
Which is
right.
exactly what capitalism is. But when you say that, I think about I don't know if you ever listened to Rage Against the Machine, but when they first came out, like that's what that was their thing. Like they were raging against the machine, but then they got so big, it's like, dude, yeah, you guys got mansions. What are you raging against?
Yeah,
Like,
you
really?
haven't like calmed down by now. You still mad at the machine? You
Gotta
are
chill
the
out at some
machine.
point.
You're part of the machine.
You.
So,
Yeah. So I don't know. But I
so
guess I don't have a lot of
that's-
these imaginary problems because I don't. Money is an issue for me. So
yeah.
Ever tell you
But
about the time my sister got a tattoo?
no.
So real quick.
the Miami one?
Yeah.
But yeah, tell the story.
So
Tattoos.
if anybody knows my sister, she's
Lizzie.
very different. Yeah, Lizzie. She's thug.
I love your sister. I love your sister. We go way back.
She's
Shout out to
threatened
Lizzie.
to kill me. She's definitely threatened to kill me.
You probably deserved it.
No, I didn't. So just to give you just a quick little background about her.
Where are you hitting yourself? Where are you hitting yourself?
I remember. Rest in peace, Uncle Clay. But my uncle passed away a couple of years ago, and we went down to Cleveland. And so I go to see my sister. My sister drove my mom down, and I drove my cousins down because I think it was when LeBron was on Cleveland, and then he won the championship that year, and then the Indians were in the playoffs, and so we were gonna fly down, but then tickets went up to $1,000. Like, what the hell is that? I was like, what's going on? I was like, oh shit, the Indians in the playoffs? Like, since back in the day. Anyway, so my sister comes up, and I'm talking to her. I'm like, yeah, what's up? I was like, yo, and I'm looking at the side of her door. I shit you not, I see bullet holes. Side of her door. And I'm like, are those bullet holes? She's like, yeah. I'm like,
Yeah. What,
and
you
then
don't have any?
Yeah. A friend of the car was like, I told her not to go to that party. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, well, yeah, I was at this barbecue, right? I parked the car around the corner, and they were just shooting and stuff, But anyway, the car got hit up twice, but the insurance doesn't cover that. And I was like, so just to give you an idea of how crazy my sister is. So,
good time.
when I want to say like 25, 26, graduated back home now, just trying to figure stuff out. Tony comes over the house, and then he comes upstairs, the attic. He's like, hey, yo, your sister got a tattoo on her arm. Like, I think it says like Mimi or something. I'm like, what? And we call her name was Liz, we call her Lizzie. So I go downstairs, I'm like, Liz, let me see. And so she's a little thicker now because she's had a baby, right? She's got the thick. So her forearms like double my forearms. And you see this big tattoo on it. I'm like, what the hell? So I was like, what does that say? Mimi? She's like, Miami. I was like, Miami? I was like, bitch, you never even been to Miami. But I like it. And I was like, bitch. I was like, I like ice cream, but I'm not going to get vanilla on my fucking arm. And she's like, well, anyway. And I was like, well, it stands for money isn't a major issue. And I was like, oh my God. And so I was going back to your story, like money is a major issue. Full circle. Thank you. That's my time. That's my time.
All right, but can you please get the word vanilla tattooed on you? Like maybe
Really,
like
right?
on your knuckles.
Have you ever met
Or
anybody that's
Rocky
ever
Road.
like, I just got it because I liked it? Like yeah,
Rocky
I would think you'd
Road.
have more. I mean, you have tattoos, right? Ev,
Mhm.
you don't have any, right?
No.
Yeah.
I don't have any, but Joe, you have tattoos.
Mhm.
So I assume
Re-
those tattoos are based on things that you have either.
Not always. And I know I know why Ev's I know why Ev's
Why?
laughing, but before we get into that story,
Why?
Okay. All right.
not necessarily. Like some people, and I would consider myself one of these people, um, love the art of tattoos, right?
Yeah.
So I would get a tattoo of something that I might not be something that means something to me, but the artwork looks amazing. Like to me, I appreciate that more. Not to say that I'm just gonna get like some random city, tattoo, but like I don't know. Uh, there's this like pop art, right? If somebody did like a fucking weird, I don't know, design or something that doesn't, mean something important to my life, but that shit looks sick, and it's like a ridiculously good artist. Fuck yeah, go ahead, do it. You know what I mean? But that's me.
I mean,
Some
tattoo.
people, what's that?
I mean, tattoo.
1, 2, 3, 4. But they're big.
Are you
They're big.
sure?
Yeah,
Are
yeah,
you sure?
yeah,
All right.
yeah. I mean, you can see one of them's right here, upside down.
You
But
forgot Thug Life across the belly?
yeah,
Did you forget that?
no, it says Fudge Life.
There you go. That'd be
That's
great.
right.
That'd be
Yeah.
so great. I
You
mean,
gotta do it now.
Bro.
But one of the reasons I don't have tattoos, just real quick before Joe gets to the story, is because I changed my mind so much. I mean, I don't like needles, but that was never really like I would get something, but I know
What would you
like
get?
2 weeks later I would be like, that's the point. I can't get anything because 2 weeks later I'd see myself like, why the fuck did I get that?
Didn't
I'm
you
kind
want?
of
I mean,
impulsive, so
there was that one
I was
idea
gonna
though that
get.
you kept coming back to of the painting of what was his name, the Dalai
the
Lama,
crucifixion.
not the
Not
Dalai
Dalai
Lama,
Lama.
Salvador Dali.
He's got two.
All right.
He's got two crucifixion ones that are, some of my favorite paintings, and but to get somebody to do like a Dali painting on you gotta get a really good artist to do
Yeah.
it.
You gotta be willing to spend the money and go through the pain.
So I was gonna get, because of hip hop, I was a big Rough Riders fan and Rockefeller fan, and Row, that's short. And so I was gonna get the Rough Rider R and the Rockefeller O, and I was gonna be killing it. And I'm so glad to this day because I saw that tattoo on somebody, and I was like, oh, that's so dumb. Why the hell? I'm so glad I didn't do that. I saw it on a grown man. I was like, I'm so happy I didn't do that. That was one of the best
and you know what?
decisions in my life.
And same thing here. But could you imagine, like, especially now where you have like cancel culture and people's past are coming out, and you're finding out. Like, imagine getting like a tattoo of like Bill Cosby or like Max Weinstein, like holding hands, like
Damn
those
it.
are two of my
Damn
idols, bro, right there. then fast forward to 2020, like,
Can't do that anymore.
like, really? Both of them? Both of my idols? Fuck.
That was like the guy with the vote Adolf posters in his house. Like, like, all right, so I made a mistake. Sorry.
Called it wrong. Fuck. But yeah,
There's somebody definitely out there with a
a
Bill Cosby tattoo. There's definitely somebody out there with a Bill Cosby
Pudding
tattoo.
pop.
For sure.
with a pudding pop,
All right, Ev, would you get a tattoo? All right, you say you change your mind a lot, but would you get a tattoo, and this goes to you, Ro, too, of like your favorite sports team? Because I would assume that's not.
I almost did it drunk in New Orleans last time I was there. I was going to get Jets with the Wu-Tang symbol meshed into one.
That's all Ro. See, I would not be mad at that because if
yeah,
anybody that knows
that means
Roger,
something, though.
they know at some
That's-
point in his
go.
week he's gonna have a Jets or Wu-Tang piece of clothing, article of clothing on. So
Yeah,
that I'm not mad at that.
and it means something. So
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
see
exactly.
There you go. There you go.
But,
The
I
fact
mean, my
that we
favorite
all have
teams.
Staten Island, tattoos.
I'd get a Wu-Tang tattoo.
Boom, let's do it. Let's do a group
Let's do
one.
it.
We'll go out to Reno. We got to find a good.
I'm glad you said Reno. I'm so glad you said Reno. Reno is slept on.
Yeah.
Reno is one of the most slept on places on the earth. Evan knows. That's
Biggest,
where
what is
we.
it? Biggest little city on earth, right?
It is. I
That's what they
think. I think
say.
you need to give it a chance,
That's their
Roseville.
tagline.
I
I mean,
think
I don't
if
want to
you.
go,
I think if you
but I'll
sprinkle
do it.
in Reno to like
I mean,
a
I really don't want to go to Reno, but I'll do it.
you sprinkle in Reno to like a Vegas weekend, I think you'll have a better appreciation for Reno. I promise you.
All right.
All right, I don't promise you,
Okay.
but I think you'll have a good time.
I just like.
All right, I
like the
can't even
whole-
say you'll have a good time, but you won't have a bad time.
Okay. All right.
All right, you'll be there. Let's just leave it at that. You'll be there, okay?
I'll buy you a
Can't
ride.
take that away. If you go to Reno, you'll be in Reno. I just love the proximity to San Francisco and that drive between San Francisco and Reno. I mean, that's just me. I like drives. I like taking road trips.
Road trips.
And
Yep.
so, going into Reno and then going to San Fran, that's cool. I enjoy that. So
Dude, one of my most funnest trips was actually for my my bachelor party. My bachelor party. That was in Reno, right? And I believe I was supposed to meet Ev in Reno, right? Was that? Well, I forgot what the plan was.
we did meet in Reno.
Right, but
and then you started driving to Vegas.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, man. You picked me up at the airport and went the other way.
Yeah, but the way it worked out was I think we were gonna meet at the hotel, and I drove from San Francisco to Reno by myself, and it was like, it was just something about doing a road trip by yourself. It's different, it's completely different
Lost
vibe.
with your thoughts.
Yeah, it was fun though. I liked it, and then I it was funny because I called Ev to see where he was, and he was like, I just landed, and I was like right by the airport, so I was like, I'm gonna come get you, and it was like perfect timing. He literally like walked out of the airport, and I'm pulling up, it's like, yeah, like get in, like let's go, and then I started going to Vegas. I was going in the wrong direction,
He drove
but
because
it was
we had
cold
a
How
enough.
long did it take you to realize?
Well,
we
were like
were
a couple
so
exits.
deep in conversation.
Yeah.
We were like, just catching up, like blah 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 blah. And I'm like, why are the mountains getting smaller?
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute, these numbers are going the wrong way.
Joe, weren't you in the car with me when I was supposed to go to Jamaica, and we went to the wrong airport? No, it was me, Tony, and I thought you were in the car with me.
It's possible. What year was this? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I told you I knelt down in front of the guys, like, don't shoot me, just to go. I had to beg to get on the plane. So we got high. We got high in the car. Maybe it was, I don't know.
Oh, you know what? It could have been. Getting high in the car. It sounds right.
Yeah, and then we were driving to the airport, and I had to go to LaGuardia, and we wound up going to JFK.
And it's like,
I was like,
ah.
And I was going to Jamaica to go with Jack.
Yes,
and Rob,
yes, I was. That was me in the car. That was me in the car. I'm surprised you made it on that trip.
Bro, you don't understand. I was on my knees begging the lady, please let me go. I was like, I've never been on spring break before. I can go with my family, my friends.
Ro is always late for flights. The only person I know that late for flights and miss flights, and I'm like the quintessential like dad, gets up 8 hours early, and we gotta be there 4 hours early before our flight. Ro literally like constantly has the door closed.
Ev's gassing up the plane. He's kicking the tires.
I've only missed one flight. I've made all mine. I've only missed one. But I remember,
but you barely make them.
Yes, barely make them.
You flew to California for my wedding without an ID. How did you fly? How? I still don't.
ID.
And then didn't go home afterwards. You went to LA.
I've lost my passport, by the way, and my ID. My passport I've lost probably 8 times. Wow. To the point where they've literally said to me, like, listen, sir, if you lose your passport again, this is gonna be a problem.
You can literally buy Ro's identity on the black web.
100%.
And that's actually the website. It's theblackweb.com.
It's called Black Web.
Technically, you can go on a plane as long as you have a credit card and 2 credit cards and a piece of mail, or a credit card and 2 pieces of mail.
Interesting.
Yeah. You can go on any flight. Yep.
So
they will mark you down. You will not get any drinks on the plane. Yeah, put you on the list. You will not get any drinks on the plane. But yes, you can get on a flight.
Okay.
You have to ride in the baggage
But
compartments. But
what I've learned, I always tell people you should do two things. I fly. I was always flying a lot. You know me. I was flying all the bit. But your directory, like your closest friends or people, like make a list of that and email it to yourself so you have that just in case.
Mm-hmm.
And also a copy of your passport or a copy of your ID just in case, because that goes a long way. Like to know your number and stuff, they can look it up
Mm-hmm.
just in case you lose your ID or something.
Yeah.
whatever you
Change my
do,
life.
don't put me on that list, because if they call me to vouch for you, I'm going to fuck with them. I'm like, listen, sir, you have one of the worst terrorists in the world. Don't look at him. Don't let him know I'm telling you this information.
Just
I need you to go and call the authorities immediately.
just be lucky he's not wearing a blazer. No. Well, actually, he is wearing a blazer. Oh my God.
Oh God, it's too late. It is too late.
You got to give him an anal cavity search now. You should right now.
All right, the only way you're gonna get out of this is the anal probe. Now.
Nah.
Right.
On my word.
Sir, you need to come to me, sir.
Yeah, I had a weird experience when we we were thankful enough to be able to take a trip to Hawaii just in February, just before all this shit happened. And it was like a really, really needed vacation.
What island you go again?
We went to Kauai, and
I love Kauai. Beautiful.
we went to Oahu first, and then we went to Kauai. So we stayed at the Four Seasons in Oahu, and then went to Kauai and stayed at this timeshare that my brother-in-law has. I was sick, which coincidentally, I don't know if you guys watch like any of these crime dramas and things like that, like like ID channel stuff. But there was this couple who they had their two kids. Fuck, there's a whole documentary on Netflix about it. American Murder. That check that out.
Though.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
So we were in Hawaii, like at the same place they were at, and we saw when their fucking cars got found in the parking lot. Yeah, it was crazy. It was sick. But anyway, that wasn't the story I was bringing up. When I was in the airport on our way there, I'm just sitting, and whenever I'm traveling or in public, I don't know, call it anxiety or whatever you want to call it, but I can't really relax. I'm always looking around at everybody around me. I'm looking to see who's the person that's going to whip out a gun to try to shoot everybody, right? That's what I do. I'm just like, yeah, he could. Anyway, there was this homeless guy, right, who was walking around the whole airport. Now he's not really bothering me, right? But he does look kind of creepy. He looked like,
He's homeless and in the airport.
And in the airport.
And
now,
in Hawaii.
Hawaii? No. Yes. Going from one island to the other.
Hero.
Right.
That's my hero.
But no, just wait. He looked like what's his name? Who's the actor with the eyes that go different? Fuck. Forrest Whitaker. He looked like Forrest Whitaker. Okay, in Ghost Dog. Remember how he was dressed in Ghost Dog, but he had hair like George Clinton from the Parliament Funkadelic, right? So picture hair like that, look like Ghost Dog, and he's walking around, and I'm like, all right, I gotta keep an eye on this guy. Flight leaves before us, and he gets on. Like, they start calling the groups. He goes up, he gets on a plane. I'm like, man, sucks for whoever has to sit next to that guy. The plane takes off. He comes back out of the fucking tunnel. I'm like, what the fuck? But nobody's even batting an eye. Then nobody's escorting him out. He's just like kind of skipping, had his headphones on, goes and sits back down. I'm like, what the fuck? So we get on the plane, right? Finally, it's our turn now. They call us, whatever. We get on our plane. I look across from us. Who's sitting across from us? This fucking guy. I'm like, great. I got Ghost Dog on my fucking plane, right? We sitting there. The plane fucking fills up. He gets up, grabs his shit, and leaves. And then the plane fucking takes off, and he never gets on the plane. I'm like, what the is he like a resident homeless person that they just don't give a fuck about and let him hop on? Like, it was the freakiest thing. I've actually never told anybody about that, but I don't know what that was all about. Maybe
He
he
was a
was.
ghost
Maybe I was the
who
only one
died
could see him. You
in
know
a
what? He
flight.
might. Maybe he was because my wife didn't. I was like, Michelle, did you see fucking
Did you see
George
Ghost
Clinton?
Dog?
George Clinton Ghost Dog? Like, no. I'm like, fuck.
He was in a flight in the 70s and crashed, and he's been there ever since, roaming, trying to catch that flight.
Playing
You
that
guys
funk.
believe in ghosts?
I do.
I believe
Ooh,
in
Joe.
Well,
spirits.
let's there we go. Let's talk about since Halloween just passed, and I did want to get on about this on the episode about ghosts because I have all different theories and stuff about it. But yeah, I definitely believe in an afterlife, and I do believe there's such thing as residuals, like residual energy, and like if the energy is so powerful, it can leave like an impression that maybe people can see. And then I also think there are restless spirits. So, but yeah. So what's your like freakiest encounter or unexplained? Real quick, right off the head, Joe's apartment was fucking
Yeah.
spooky.
Yeah.
So, and there was one time I think it may have been just me and you. No, it may have been a bunch of us. We were doing either recording music or doing videos or something. And we were, I forget what we were doing, but we were in the living room then. We walked into the kitchen and the stove was on, like the burner was on. And nobody had been over there. It's like somebody had just turned the stove on. I was like, like, why is your stove on? And you were just like you're like, oh yeah, that happened.
That's the ghost.
I was like, no.
Yeah.
We were trying to figure out, maybe
he's like, it's got to be a malfunction.
Like, nah, it's a ghost.
So yeah, I mean, it was all right. So we should back up a little bit. So where I lived was a like old 3-story walk up. I think the building was from like late 1800s. Like, it actually had it on the thing. It was like 1880 something, I believe it was, or 90 something. And so that alone, it already has that creepy feel, that like old architecture type, just cool ass fucking building, right? I mean, you guys have been there a million times. But anyway, so one thing that would always happen for some reason is we would always, whenever, especially if you were in the kitchen, and the way the apartment was, it was kind of like sort of like the old school railroad apartments, sort of, in a way. Like you walk in, there's a hallway, bedrooms to your left and right. You turn into the living room, you go straight ahead into the kitchen. So if you're sitting in the kitchen, you can see all the way, depending on where you're in the kitchen, you can see all the way down to the bedroom. And without fail, we would always see like one of us, right? I would see my mom, my parents would see me, my sister, and we would always be like, "Oh shit, they're home," and go, and they wouldn't be there. And that happened, I can't tell you how many times. And it's happened with where I thought I've seen my dad. One time I was in my pantry in the kitchen. That time scared the shit out of me because my mom even saw it, and I didn't say anything at first. But I was standing in the kitchen looking in the pantry, and from the corner of my eye, I see what I think is my dad coming from the bathroom towards me, but like he's gonna hit me, right? So I'm like, I flinch because I'm like,
How old were you? Like,
bro, I was like already in my 20s. I was an adult.
Yeah.
I would say like maybe early, like 22, 23, something like that, early 20s. And I go, like, I flinch and I look, and my mom sees me, and I was like, oh shit, like nobody's there. And like I got to, like, even my hair's just standing up now. Like I got chills. So whatever, I'm just looking in the pantry now, but now fuck whatever I was looking for. I'm like tripping because I'm like, fuck, I just saw my dad about to hit me. So my mom's like, what happened? I was like, what? She's like, what happened? And she's like, you're pale. She's like, you're like, you look like a ghost. And then finally I was like, I told her what happened. So then like she told my dad. And of course my mom is like your typical, religious Puerto Rican mom. So she went and lit up like 15 candles and did a rosary and blessed the whole house and all that. But like, yeah, stuff like that probably more than anything happened where you think you see someone. Like we assumed it was a spirit or ghost that just kind of took the likeness of one of us just to fuck with us. At least that's what we thought.
Maybe you have the shine, boy. You have the shine. Which I say that, but I think certain people are not susceptible to it, but they can see, they're in tune with it. So
Mhm.
maybe you have the shine.
Yeah.
You can see
Well, it's
see things that other people can't,
like,
like the airport guy.
yeah. If well, imagine shit. I'm
Man.
like the Sixth Sense. Well, one thing like growing up, I guess my grandmother, you could say, was someone who you know had the shine or whatever. And
Yeah.
when we first moved there, she blessed the apartment and did her thing, and she said something to the effect of like that how that a building or whatever is kind of like a portal where they kind of come through and out and stuff like that. So I mean stuff like that I kind of
You
like.
said portal?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
I use the word. She didn't say portal. I use that word, but
Okay, because she said
she
portal. I'm
said
like,
like door. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
I don't get. You say portal. I'm
Door,
out.
door,
Oh,
portal.
yeah,
portal.
same. But
I'm out.
when it comes to
I'm
stuff
out.
like that, I lean towards like my dad, where I'm more practical and I think of the science of it, and I'm more kind of like along the lines of like that shit scaring me. So I'm just that's not true, and this is what it is. The wind's blowing. You know what I mean? I'll look
Mm-hmm.
for a scientific explanation because I think actually they go hand in hand. I think science at some point will
Me
be able to
too.
explain the
100%.
supernatural and these things that people see or say they see.
So,
I think.
So
so
I
Joe, let me
wanted
ask
to
you a
do a
question.
whole episode about that real quick, and I think we'll do an episode about that because my beliefs are very similar. Like
Mhm.
most religion, science, and the unexplained can, I think all go
Me too.
in in hand. They're interchangeable, and
Yeah.
so we'll do a whole episode with that because I can take it a whole bunch further. Like
Yeah.
I mean everything. If you link it all together, it really is. But
Yeah. I'm with it.
Well, let me ask him one question though
Yeah.
before we get off this topic.
Mhm.
So, I had a friend of mine who used to work for the Roosevelt Hotel in
Oh,
L.A.
creepy.
on the Strip, and
we
yeah,
stayed there.
We stayed there.
We
Yeah.
she was
stayed
like,
there.
I love that hotel, but she was like,
Yeah.
some of the staff we take pictures, right?
Mhm.
And for the certain nights, whatever, it was like a group, and you could see the ghost in the picture.
Oh
She
fuck.
showed me, yo, I was,
Yeah.
yo, and
That's
it
cool.
wasn't like kind of scary. It was just like a little, like a person in the corner. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I
it
love that shit.
bugged me.
Uh,
That I was like, no. And
yeah.
then just like, yeah, there's always a little boy sometimes, that people see
Uh,
out by the pool area because a kid drowned in the pool.
Yeah.
I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And so one night I'm staying at the Roosevelt Hotel and I thought I saw a little kid running, and I was like, yeah, that. I was like, no, there ain't no.
would
The
you?
kids aren't allowed at the pool. That's the
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
That's
Kids
right.
aren't
That's
allowed
right.
at the
That's right.
Roosevelt. I know that.
And
Yeah.
that's why I was like, wait, I thought I saw this. Like, no, you didn't. I was like, no, I did. And she's like, well, that wasn't what you did. And so my point was, have you ever seen? Is your hotel
Mhm.
old enough to have anything go in there? Because you always
Um.
hear so many people die
Yeah.
in hotels that they
So
don't really tell you.
yeah. Well, we've had, and this was before I started working. So the hotel opened up in 2001, right? The week of nine
Okay, so
eleven.
it's new.
The
All right.
week of 9/11. 9/11 kind of screwed with the opening apparently. But there have been I want to say I don't know if it's two, but for sure one suicide in the hotel. And
Wow.
people have claimed to like see some scary shit. But right now, during this fucking pandemic, we security and engineers. So on any given night, there's about six of us. The same six with maybe just switching around a few guys here or there every night. The top half of our hotel is residences, but the hotel itself is the bottom half is empty. All the meeting rooms, all the kitchen, everything empty. Lights are off. So when guys do patrols, they gotta use fucking flashlight. It's fucking
Oh hell
scary,
no.
dude. It's some 28,
Oh hell
28
no.
days later
Awesome.
shit. It's
Oh
creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
hell
even gonna lie. I
no.
mean, we've enjoyed the. I'm not. Sounds fucked up to say. We've enjoyed the kind of quiet time at night because
Yeah.
it's not busy. We don't have like the bar. We don't have basketball teams. We don't have
Yeah.
all this craziness. So that's kind of like the silver lining. But at the same time, when you're doing your patrols and shit, and now we're renovating the residence. So I patrol the residences, and they have like, they're just redoing the hallways where they live, and so all the right now they're starting to take out all the lighting, and they have like the construction puts their whatever makeshift lighting that they have is these little like fucking lamps, but they
The
give it
yellow
this.
lamps.
Yeah, but they give it this scary ass blue filter. It's still dark in spots. It's like like some Resident Evil shit. And I'm like, fuck. And I've come across homeless people that somehow make it in, and that's why we do patrols. And you see them,
Yeah.
like catch them sleeping on the stairs or some shit. Like fuck, man. Like what are you doing here? Like you scare each other. But yeah, aside from that though, right now it hasn't. We don't. I don't think it's old enough or has a history
Yeah,
like
to
the
have
Roosevelt. But shout out to the Roosevelt, man. They got great service. Me and Ev, for someone who works in a 5-star hotel, I really appreciate this. We were checking in, and I forgot who said it. If it was me or Ev, was like, I need to shave. I was like, damn, I need to shave or something like that. And I don't know if you remember, like, we went upstairs, we checked in, and then like a few minutes later, there was a knock on the door, and the person came up with the shaving kit and the toothbrush kit. And I was like, damn, I didn't even ask. They were just fucking ear hustling our conversation.
One of the best hotels in LA.
Like,
I love staying
yeah,
at that
that
hotel.
shit is dope.
And the pool, if you get in the summertime pool party, woo-hoo.
Yeah.
We were there that time. We were waiting for you because we were gonna meet you, and
Oh yeah.
we went to the bar there, and we had fun at the bar there.
It was weird.
There's a couple there in the
like
lobby. There's like a
bars
few bars. Yeah, there's like 4 of them.
We met you at some
at
hipster
one.
bar, and then went to like a
We
sports
across
bar.
the street. We went to that.
We met at the Irish
yeah.
place
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
Yeah, that was
That
funny
was
too,
fucking
because
weird though. I felt like
the bar in the Roosevelt was just cool.
I
It was
felt like
just-
I was in an
it's like
audition for a movie that I didn't
Oh
know
my
what
God.
role I was going for, so I was just
fucking
winging it.
The bus boy with the fucking handlebar mustache. I'm like, dude, you're doing the dishes. You don't have to be in character, bro.
That's Hollywood, bro. That's
Yeah, but
that
that
is,
is-
you know.
How
Early on, I used to be my first time out in LA when I was like 18, 19, and it was a big like culture shock in that sense. I was like, man, everybody is so phony. Like, it's like, I fucking hate LA. And I was like, and it's all desert. I'm like, this sucks. And then when I went back, the next couple of times, once you realize like that is the industry around LA is movies and pretending and all that. Then once you accept that, then you're like, okay, I get why everyone's like this, and then you accept it, and you realize how cool it is.
Yeah.
So, but real quick before we even get to that, Ro, what are your thoughts about ghost, or have you ever had an encounter? Or your attic was a little bit spooky.
Yeah, you know what was crazy? I didn't know if it was like my subconscious or whatever, but I would go to sleep and there was this demon. I just was true story.
No, tell it, because what?
There was I would have 2 dreams, right? One was like, you ever have that dream you're jumping and like you're kind of flying, but you're like jumping again, so you land, you jump again, you're flying a little bit, and then you're gonna come back down, like, oh, and then you wake up. So I used to have that dream a lot. But then also I had this other dream, and there was like this black, just like demon, and it would pin me down, and I couldn't move. And when you're like you're half awake in your sleep, and I knew I was dreaming. I was like, wake up, come on, wake up, wake up. So I come to find out later that it was only when I had a stuffy nose that was me fighting that I couldn't breathe. So me being pinned down was actually the demon suffocating was actually me having a stuffy nose, and I couldn't really breathe on the room. So it took a long time for me to realize what it was. But I was like, yo, man, this thing keeps, I don't even want to go to bed tonight because, it's going to pin me down again.
There's a whole Netflix documentary about that, about sleep paralysis and all that.
I hate it.
Yeah,
the science behind it, but it really is, because your body does paralyze you when you go to sleep, so to keep yourself from getting hurt. But a lot of people, and my wife is one of them, where they the paralysis wears off before they wake, or the opposite. They wake up before the paralysis wears off, so they're still.
That's the worst. You're like, just kick my leg up.
But my wife is the opposite, so she has that almost sleepwalking thing, like. And so if she has like a really intense dream, and she's gonna kill me for saying this, but like she'll pop up and she starts acting it out, and And I'm like, it's like
Yeah.
fucking Step Brothers.
Yeah.
The scene where she had one where, you know, the house was on fire, so she's standing up on the bed, stomping on it, like, I gotta put the fire
Oh,
out,
you
put the
Leonard
fire out."
Leonard Nimoy. No, you know it's funny. I'm pretty sure I suffered from this when I lived back in New York, but I have night terrors, right? And it's crazy because I have two reoccurring dreams, and there's one where I'm always being chased. I'm always being chased. I don't know what's chasing me, but there's something like on my ass, right? And I will run into someplace. It'll be a house, a building. Every time it'll be something different, but I'll run into someplace. And when I get inside this place, it is the same place every time. The layout, it sometimes it'll look a little different, but I know this like the back of my hand. I know where to run, I know where to hide, and it's always I have it at least, I don't know, once every like 2 months or something like that. You know, fairly often. And a lot of times what would happen is I would be so scared of whatever's chasing me that I would force myself up. Like I would wake up, but then I would have that sleep paralysis where it was like I probably wasn't ready to get up. Like I forced myself out of REM sleep or whatever the fuck it is, and I'm paralyzed and I can't move. And then so then a lot of times I'm trying to yell and I can't. And I think I'm yelling. I think I'm yelling loud, but I'm not. I'm really just like moaning. And then I have other ones where Michelle will wake me up. She was like, "Yeah, you was
He's
just
just
straight
laying in bed
screaming."
going,
Yeah.
"Oh."
Yeah. In my head, I'm like, ah. I mean, real, I was just like, mm. And I wake up to my
Fucking creep, Joe, wake up.
I wake up to my wife hitting me. But yeah, it's weird.
No.
We're digging deep here at Woken Up Woke.
We are.
Oh, that's exactly what happened. I woke up woke.
You woke up woke.
And that's how we do it.
So we're at a little past an hour and a half. You know, I think we could wrap it up.
Yeah.
It was a good show, but I do want to get into. I do have I have notes and everything about the whole supernatural and ghosts and demons and angels and
Yeah,
I'd love to talk about that with you guys. So maybe one of the next ones we do, we can dive into that. And,
yeah, I'm down because I got like you said, I have a couple theories with like science and religion and stuff like that. So
you know what's funny? Just a quick. So if you ever talk to my cousin Jack about this stuff, he really just does the science. He's like, no, it's impossible. I'm like, so he's so bad with it, like because he's a doctor. Like we'll talk about The Walking Dead. He's like, I won't watch that. That's because it can't happen. Like, come on, man. He's like, no, science doesn't work like that.
Science
like,
ruined his imagination.
Yeah. He won't even go venture in the area. Nope.
Oh, we should have him on then. We should have him on as a guest. He should be our first guest.
Yeah, but then he'll just shoot down everything we say.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, we should actually have him on it when we talk about the paranormal, and he'd be like, "Yep, nope, that's nope. Well, what your mind is doing right here, it's doing it to think that it's something. Yeah, and I'm like, what?
It'll be a.
You don't believe anybody come back? Nope. You die. All right, buddy.
It'll be a 12-minute episode.
Yeah.
So everything we brought up, he just debunked and shut down. Saying,
All right,
we'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us. That's funny. All right, guys. Shit. Well, thanks everybody again for listening.
We appreciate it. Great show. Thanks for. There's Ro.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen. That's the real Ro.
I mean, sometimes
you know.
When he's on, he's on. When he's off, he is off.
He's off.
That's true. Plugs. You guys got any plugs? I know, Ro, you got an after hours with Ro.
Yeah, after hours tomorrow. It's either 8:30 or 9 because my guest may be late. So either 8:30 or 9 o'clock tomorrow, after hours with Ro. I have a special guest, Tanya Estesum,
nice.
Which is going to be a very interesting show. She's ripped, like in great shape. Was a former dancer and trainer and then did bodybuilding. So whatever she does, she just does it to the best. But she was suffering through anorexia through the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah, so like
Nice.
talking to her about that and learning the difference between anorexia and bulimia, yeah, and learning that difference too is crazy. So just really understand that bulimia, you're puking, making yourself puke, whereas anorexia, you don't want to eat, and that's like crazy. And so she also got COVID,
Oh, wow.
and so now it's been like 4 months now. She still can't taste anything. So she's like, yeah. She's like, so the anorexia is kind of like you having an addiction. You just work through it every day. You just try to do what you can to survive. And I was like, that's so crazy. She's like, yeah. It's like, now you can't taste food.
Yeah, right. Like that's so hard. How do you not, fall off the wagon or I don't know, hop on the wagon? I always forget which is which. But damn, that sucks. Fuck.
Yeah. So
I have
anyway,
the opposite of anorexia right now.
You're
he's
just
eating
eating
everything in
everything.
front of you.
I can't stop.
Even when he's full, he's like crying because he just keeps eating. Like,
You know what? I miss basketball. I pray we can ever play basketball again, bro. I would love.
No, I really pray you guys get to play basketball again.
Hey,
You guys, I really hope you guys get to play
I gotta
basketball
get out of the
again.
house.
I hate
Please, I
you,
need
Joe.
to get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, that
Rose-
was just that one night.
Ro
just to get
hated
away.
me. Ro knows like it could be like we just need one more point.
One guy.
Somebody's
just
hurt.
stand there.
Just you don't gotta do
Stand-
nothing. I'm like, nah, I can't do it. It's not what I do.
Just stand in the middle at half
Just
court
stand
and watch
right
us
there.
go
That's
back.
all you have to do. That's all you have to do. Nope.
Nope. Joe, you got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, we
did
got
one today?
yeah, we did new episode of The Ordinary Joes. It actually might be up now as we speak. I think Eric texted
What did you
me.
talk about?
It was part 2 to we're doing the best and worst movie sequels. Last week we did the worst.
nice.
This week we did some good ones. We got some suggestions from you guys, and we did some that we feel are better than the original. So yeah, that'll be up tonight at some point if it's not already.
Cool. That's the Ordinary Joe's podcast. Check that out wherever podcasts are available. Rose After Hours with Ro on Instagram at After Hours with Ro.
And I'm sorry, blackfilms.com. I also do a show on Thursday.
Yep.
That's
Facebook
the real.
Live.
We're trying to get paid on that one.
Yeah.
Coming soon. We're trying to get some paid
Support
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
That's on
blackfilms.com.
Facebook, correct?
Yes, on Facebook. You
Yep.
can download it.
Yeah.
You can get all the news about black stuff. So you're like, oh, I know black stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh
And there you
cool.
go.
I'm gonna look it up. Yep. Oh, and also Man, a Few Words podcast. Last episode was about Cobra Kai, so spoiler alerts if you haven't watched it, don't listen to it yet. But yeah, shout out to Anchor. Finally gave me my sponsorship, so I made like 2 cents. I'm rolling in the
you're
dough.
on your way.
Rolling in the dough.
On your way.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we are woken up with woke. We do. I don't know, Joe, if you may have seen it, but the new podcast. There's another podcast that we do. It's a informative, very intellectual podcast, and it's coming out right now. It's called No More Lies podcast, and that's No KNOW. So you know more lies.
More lies.
Once we get it, there's actually 2 episodes already recorded. Great, informative stuff, and
Nice.
so once we get that out there, we'll plug that.
Check that out.
It's coming.
Yeah.
So, but guys, thanks a lot. This has been great.
Yes, sir.
Let's keep at it, and see you next
See
time.
you next week.
Peace, man.
Peace.
Listening to the Woken Up Woke